Every day we wake up to a world connected to technology. Our phones, once just a tool for communication, now hold the power of creation. As a filmmaker, I've always been fascinated by stories, by the magic of bringing visions to life. I've shot films with the iPhone 13 as well as the iPhone 14, but today, as I pick up my iPhone 15 Pro Max, I feel a different kind of excitement. So, allow me to take you through behind the scenes of Cat and Mouse. For this film, I wanted to take the phone outside for a change, brighter scenes to let this phone show its true potential, especially shooting in Apple ProRes log. So, I got phone in my pocket, I need a light, and leaving behind all that bulky equipment. Okay, hold on. We do actually need a few more items. Maybe not as rigged up like how they shot the Apple event, but one very important gear is a gimbal. This is also a good time to let you know that this film project was sponsored by Zhiyun using their WeBuild 3S gimbal, so that I can pull off some super cinematic movement without the footage looking too shaky. By the way, this isn't a gimbal exclusively for phone. It can take the weight of any camera up to 3.5 kilograms, and it's super easy to use. You can quickly access different modes by just pressing the M button here. My personal favorite feature though is this cushion for your wrist to rest on it, and it just makes it so comfortable, as well as this extended handle for those low angle shots or using it with two hands. For storage, I went for the CyberRAM 1TB Rocket Nano SSD connecting to the USB-C, then attach the phone onto this holder that fits quite nicely on the gimbal's base plate, while the SSD slots at the back here onto another holder. Don't worry, I have listed all these accessories in the description below. Now, to control the exposure for outdoor, I needed an ND, so I got this CPL mount that clips on, but it doesn't have the ND. So I had to get this separate variable ND that attaches on top, and then you just clip on over the lens of the phone. The app I'm using to record is the Blackmagic camera app, which is free for you to download. Before I go into the settings, I just want to quickly show you that there's actually a feature to stabilize your footage via the app. There's the off, which doesn't stabilize at all. Obviously you rely on a gimbal, standard, and then there's cinematic and extreme. Now, there's a massive delay when you record on cinematic and extreme that you notice even more. So that I'm really glad that I wasn't relying on those digital stabilization and I was able to pull off the shots stabilizing using the gimbal. For the lens, I mostly shot on 24mm. If you switch to 120mm, it does get a lot darker. There's some shots I tried on that. In hindsight, I probably should have gone for the 24mm and then use the zoom feature to zoom in digitally 2 times or 4 times. But hey, it was good enough for 120mm and had to boost the ISO in the end. Frame rate per second 24, shutter speed is 48. I tried to put the ISO as low as I can and then lock the white balance at 5000 for outdoor. And this icon here lets you access different features like the zebra, which I've turned down. It'll tell me what is overexposed, 100%. And then I've also turned on the framing guide for different resolution like widescreen. Okay, going into the settings section, you'll see that I'm recording the codec in Apple ProRes 422. And then if we go into LUTs, you'll see that you have a LUT selection. You can either select the default Apple log to Rec 709, or you can actually select any of my LUTs, which I've left a link below for you to download for different kind of cinematic, cool, warm, or even nature. For the color space, I've left it on Apple log HDR. You actually later see how I grade for HDR. Okay, everything's ready? Let's go! Camera goes pointing like that.
But it's too cold if you don't do that.
Nice and smooth, isn't it?
Action. Would have been good to get some more shots, but I think we ran out of time.
And it started raining, so
No, the rain's okay, but no, this is really good because it's really light and it stabilized a lot of shots. And Emily was good, and everybody was good, and the guy behind the camera. Let me just pull it around. Raki, thank you for the BTS. Anything to say, Raki?
Yeah, our stuff is down there.
Oh, okay. I wanted to grade this film in HDR because why not? So inside DaVinci Resolve, you want to go to File and then go to Project Settings. In there, for the color science, you want to select the DaVinci YRGB Color Managed, which will give you the option for HDR Rec 2020 PQ, and then also the output color space is Rec 2020 ST208 for 1000 nits. Here you can leave it unticked or ticked, but I have it ticked at 1000 nits, which is the same as above. Dolby Vision, we don't need that because for YouTube, and enable HDR10+. Make sure that's ticked and then save that. And then once you've done that, you'll see all the clips in Rec 2020 color instead of the original log flat color, which would look like this. And then for the color grading itself, I didn't actually do much apart from moving the color slightly to the cooler side and reduce the saturation, also turn up the brightness. What took the longest though was actually the sound design. As you can see, there was only a little bit dialogue recorded, but we couldn't get the right kind of onset noise, such as walking through the leaves. So I had to add all the follies in manually. Together with the alien sound and also the music, it took a long time. And then finally, to export HDR, you want to select Format QuickTime Codec H.265. What's important here is make sure you select Embed HDR10 metadata, and then down below here you want to select Man 10 for the encoding profile, and after that in advanced settings I'll just select data levels and video and select those two at the bottom, always ticked, and that's it. One word of warning though, if you're uploading HDR clips, I mean mine's 5 minutes, but it took 12 hours for it to process and show its HDR, otherwise you're just left with SDR and it just didn't look great. But I gotta say, the wait was worth it. It was just fantastic watching it on HDR device. I think we've really come a long way in mobile filmmaking, and how now a tiny device in your hand is able to produce cinematic footage like this. I know not everyone will agree, but I definitely will be making more films on this phone. Keep exploring, keep filming, till next time.